What's up, gamers? Welcome back to another episode of Should You Back on Game Brigade. My name is Brian. Thank you for watching. Today, we're going to be diving into the Puerto Rico Special Edition from Awaken Realms. This is the second game in their line of deluxifying and kind of improving upon their work on these classic games. The first one being Castles of Burgundy, which has become one of my top 10 games in my collection. So I'm excited to kind of talk about this one, see if it maybe is a game that you're going to be considering. And I'm also going to give you my opinion about which one I might back in terms of the pledge levels so that you can get the most value for this for yourself. If that sounds interesting for you, I welcome you to subscribe to the channel, and let's go. Okay, so as of the time of this filming, we have 17 days left to go, and they're doing pretty well, 1.8 million, so good job there. Puerto Rico is a game I believe originally printed in 2002. It's an older title, but it is a very well-loved game. This is a game where you are effectively going to be building up your town and your plantation, using different citizens to work different fields and structures in your fields, eventually trying to secure the most victory points and win the game. You can kind of see the structure of the game here, and the point of this deluxification from Awaken Realms is to take a well-loved game and fix up some of the clarifications, some of the rules, and also make the quality of life improvements to make the game better for a better table presence. The gameplay is still going to be very similar to what you've already experienced, so if you already have this game, you might consider maybe keeping that one. We'll talk about that in terms of the pledge levels. But this is mostly going to be a quality of life improvement to a game that is kind of showing its age a little bit. So let's go ahead down here to kind of talk about what we have here in the game. So first off, the core game, we're going to have two versions of this game that we're going to be looking at here. We've got the special edition version and the standard edition. The standard edition is most likely going to be the retail version that you're going to be able to see, and I would not recommend backing that, at least in this campaign. I think it might be a fine purchase if you're going to pick this up for yourself at retail, because you can save yourself some of that shipping cost expenses, and you might be able to get it on a sale during game days or Prime Day or whatever it may be. You might be able to find this on sale. So if you are looking for a great deal of a kind of refined game, the standard edition is going to be one of them. And I think the best part of the standard edition is the redone work here on some of these portraits and player boards, making them these dual layer player boards. In the core game and the original game, they're just flat sheets. Everything slides around. It's hard to position things properly. So this $59 one will give you that, but other than that, it's going to be very, very similar to the original game with just some new art and whatnot. Now, the special edition is where we're going to get a lot of those improvements. You're going to get the coin tokens. You're going to get some different types of specialty things. Let's kind of go through that here. So obviously, we've got the high-quality dual-layer player boards. They had these in the Castles of Burgundy, which I'm pointing to, but you can't see it. Very nice. Big, thick, a label to get all your stuff organized so they don't slide around. I really, really love dual-layer player boards. In fact, there are so many games I've played that, in my opinion, would just be enhanced by dual layer player board. For example, we were playing Brass Birmingham last night, and I'm just like, man, it would be so cool to be able to like have this stuff, but also you don't really need it because it works out just fine as it is. But anyways, we're gonna move along. You've got the portraits. These are from the original game, so this art is just like a little bit refined, but you've got some recesses here. The game board, this is new. This was not originally a part of the game, and you have these boat tokens that were originally cardboard tokens. Now in the special edition, these are going to be wooden boats. Now I believe in the Puerto Rican standard edition, they are going back to normal token, like cardboard tokens. We also have a plastic insert here. So this will be for the market, and you can see that there are different levels of purchasing you can do here. So you have your small warehouses, your large warehouses. These are some storage and different types of buildings here. And then you've got your large buildings. These are going to be mostly for end in-game scoring points. But this is a way that you can have everything stored and make it nice and easy for gameplay purposes. I really, really like this insert, and I think this is a huge quality of life improvement, and I'd love to see this in action. We have increased tile sizes, which is great. Get them a little bigger, make them a little easier to see. But they've also refined the way these the art and the abilities are shown. So you can see here the original art. You've got the City Hall. It has basically the same information for you, victory points and all that stuff. But the ability is a little bit more harder to read. You have to understand exactly what it's saying. While here they're trying to make it a lot more easier for you to understand what the abilities are. And when we go to the standard tiles in the game, these are going to be dual-sided. So you can have them with the text on there for your assistants, kind of like a reminder text for you. But if you've played this game enough and you know what these buildings do and you'd rather have a bigger art picture, you can flip them over and just have the art and kind of be more reminiscent to the original style with just that refined art there. So I think that's pretty cool. Here you can see some of the changes in terms of the actual produce that you're going to be producing. So coffee and corn, you can see how they're nice. I like that quite a bit. And again, same thing here with these small building tiles and the large building tiles. Now we're going to be looking at one of the things that was contentious with the deluxe edition of Castles of Burgundy is the miniature pledge. They are going to offer a miniature pledge here in Puerto Rico, which in terms of table presence, it's hard to beat the way these look. It's so cool to see things on your board, just all your buildings. But in my opinion, and I said this with the Castle of Burgundy Should You Back as well, that they just make gameplay sometimes a little bit more complicated to actually play. And if they're blocking some of these locations because you have these buildings, might make it just more complicated to play and take away from the enjoyment level of the game. Now, this is a little better than the Castles of Burgundy version, because in the Castles of Burgundy, it covered up the ability, and you really had no idea what the heck was going on with some of your stuff, unless you memorized exactly what that miniature was. So here, they're still allowing you to see what the abilities are. You still have your worker placement location, so that's good. Like, I think that's cool. That's an improvement in terms of making these work, but I still don't know how much I love it. But without seeing it in person, without seeing how these look in person, I can't give you a real good definitive answer in terms of what I'd recommend or not, but I'm leaning towards no on the miniatures. You can see here the new art style. This looks pretty good. Looks classical in terms of the original game, but just kind of a new kind of almost watercolory look. I like the art. I liked it quite a bit. Now we have these countryside tiles, and these are also going to be turned into acrylic if you want the acrylic version, and I think that looks really cool. You can also get the miniature versions. Again, same example as to why I don't like the miniature version here. If you are having to place these acrylic tokens into these locations and they're going to be covering up with these minis, that's just a lot of upkeep and a lot of work, and I don't like that. It's the same reason why I didn't like it in Castles of Burgundy, because if I was trying to buy a tile from the center and then I had to come over here and mess around with a bunch of stuff to try to find the corresponding miniature that I'm going to place in my city, just seemed like a mess. Don't love it. But I do like having acrylic tiles. You're going to be shuffling these up before you place them out. I like that. And every time we have shuffling of tokens, I prefer to have acrylic over, say, cardboard. Saves your stuff a little bit. And here we're going to have those boat miniatures. These are so cool. You can see here in the standard edition that they're going to be the wooden token or the cardboard tokens like I referenced. But these are going to be able to be slid out with the docks here, or the deck, so you can have different types of slots available per player count, which is super innovative. I love this. And in fact, before I filmed this video, I was getting these weird ads on my Facebook, and it was just this boat like sliding in and out, but I wasn't actually reading like the ad. I was just looking at this miniature sliding. I'm like, that's a weird ad. And then I was like, oh yeah, when I finally run to the campaign page. So the more you know. But I really love it. But what I love more than that are these resource tokens. Like, these are so cool. So when you produce in your town, in your plantations, you will be collecting these different types of tokens. Normally they are these colored tokens in the standard edition, and this will be the standard edition version of this game. But this is just so nice. Like, this really enhances that, just makes that quality of life and just giving you that presence on the board that you're playing a special game. That's something that's like kind of a hallmark of your collection. I think that's so nice. Now we have miniature workers. Now these are going to be kind of like, I'm assuming, risk size like soldiers for the miniatures. I'm assuming they're going to be small. Now these workers, your citizens, are going to be what you send to work at different types of facilities in your town, or to your plantations if you want them to work the actual land versus, say, the town. But you're going to have to kind of plan out, do you send a guy here because you usually have to send him to a building to also work that building. You need to have people working in corresponding buildings to collect the resources. So it's kind of cool. Or you can go with these wooden tokens if you want to do the standard edition. Again, I think these are cool. I'm hoping that they work out well. I don't think these are going to be detriment at all. I think it's going to be very much similar to like a Risk dude, if you know what I'm talking about, or like an Axis and Allies soldier size. In my head, I'm assuming that's what it's going to look like. The metal coins, Axis and Allies. Now I got that word in my head. Castles of Burgundy had metal coins. They're good, like in terms of quality, great. But you don't use them very much in that game. I don't know how much we're going to use these. I haven't played this game before, so I don't know how much you're going to use the coins. But if I have the option of just getting them in my pledge, of course, I'll take that option. I think that's cool. But you're going to get these pretty thick cardboard ones with the standard edition if you decide to go with that. And these pictures here of the Castles of Burgundy one, for reference in terms of the quality, are fairly accurate. I could say that mine look like that. And then you're going to have some estate tile bag here. That's just a standard draw bag. Not too big of a deal. And then they have the expansions. Now, this includes all the expansions that have come out for Puerto Rico. So you've got the building expansion. This is just adding new buildings for variety's sake. The citizens expansion. These are nobles or citizens, I guess, who can work buildings, and they're also worth victory points. And sometimes if they work a certain building, they can give you a benefit. Here we have the Smuggler expansion. Don't know anything about that one, or the Festival expansion. But there's also going to be more expansions, at least one right now, plus I believe a solo mode that's being worked on. But here we are, and you can see that if we go to stretch goals here, they show the first expansion, which is an achievement card expansion, basically giving you achievements that you can earn. If you do the thing, you get the victory points. Pretty standard, pretty easy expansion to integrate in a lot of games, so probably why they made it. But now let's go ahead and check out the pledges. So the first pledge, the featured pledge, we're not going to talk about yet. We're going to talk about the standard pledge. Now this is the $59 one. We've already gone through what the differences are between the special edition and the standard edition. I don't recommend backing this one. I think it's a fine game. I think for $60 you're going to get a better version of Puerto Rico if you're kind of looking for that kind of economy version of this game. I think it's going to be a lot better than going and getting the old version, but it's also not going to have all those quality of life improvements, but of course you're not paying for them in that regard. Now here you have the special edition. This was kind of one of my ideas originally of, is this the best version? And I could argue this might be the best version to pledge, and just in general. You're going to get the core box with all those special things we talked about, as well as all the stretch goals, but you're going to get the deluxified components, which are some of the things I like the most in this game. You're going to get the metal coins, you're going to get these kind of acrylic, or not, whatever this miniature plastic boats, and you're going to get the miniature workers as well as the resources. I really like that one. I think $95 is a solid price. You can kind of compare those two versions and see which one means, like, do those upgrades mean enough for you? Then that's where you can kind of find out if that price is better for $59 or $95. Like, that's kind of idea. Like, are these things nicer for you? Now you've got the landscape pledge. This one includes the terrain pack. I don't love this one. I think this is one I would definitely stay away from. You do get the playmat. I like Awaken Realms playmats, but I have a love-hate relationship with playmats. I love playmats, but storing playmats is sometimes so incredibly frustrating that they're a pain sometimes to work with. And sometimes if you have a bunch of games of playmats, remembering you even have one is a pain in the butt too. So I will say I like my Awaken Realms playmat that I have for Castles of Burgundy, but it's in a pile of 50 other playmats, and I have to have a post-it note on the underside of my box cover for Castle Burgundy, it says playmat. So that way I remember, oh yeah, I got a playmat for this game. So I would probably steer clear of this in terms of most things. Also, the terrain pack, in my opinion, it's cool, but without seeing it in person, I lean away from paying the extra dollars for it. But again, yeah, it's going to be super cool seeing this stuff in your town, right? But I feel like this is a lot of upkeep and whatnot, just kind of a pain in the butt, doing a little bit too much stuff here. So I would stay away from the landscape pledge. Now we'll go up here to the merchant pledge. Now this is one that I actually highly recommended with the Castle Burgundy one, very similar here. And that's because they're offering the acrylic tiles. Now this is what I pledged when I did my Castles of Burgundy pledge. This is the level I pledged because it felt like it was the best value. You're going to get all of your cardboard tokens basically placed into acrylic. So they're going to be a kind of really nice, durable acrylic that's not too heavy but not too light, a good weight to them, gives them that longevity that this will be a board game that'll last for a long time, and also helps with the shuffling. So you can see here they're a little bit thicker, 3.5 millimeters compared to 2. They're also going to be a little shinier, and you know what, and more durable. But again, this is up to you if you are a person who appreciates this kind of stuff. I am. I really like that. You also get the playmat with this version. So for $46, you can kind of assume a playmat's on average about $25 to $35, and then you have these acrylic tiles. I felt like the value was there for me. I mean, they're selling these acrylic tiles by themselves. Like you can click here and see they're valuing it at $43 in terms of what they're going to charge. And the playmat here, what are they charging? I said between $25 and $35, $15. I'm way off. Because it's also a very small playmat because it's just this little area, but you're getting value here in terms of the total vision. There's definitely a bundle value, and then you've got the grand pledge. How many people pledge this? Almost 2,000 people have pledged this one. I would stay away from this one with a 10-foot pole. This one is just not one that I would recommend getting into. $279. I believe this game is going to hold its value. I think a lot of these games hold their values in terms of what you pledge, and sometimes can even be worth more later unless there's a reprint campaign. But there's some things in this pledge that aren't going to be earning you as much value as what you're getting. And so things like the art book, these don't return back in terms of value. And then you've got these sleeves. You got printed sleeves for both stretch goals and the printed box, as well as the printed sleeves for this other game that they're talking about, $14 for that. And it includes that other game, the San Juan card game. And I know that a lot of people, if you're looking to sell this on the aftermarket, maybe the game isn't for you, or you need some extra money, or it's, you played it enough and you're ready to move on from it. These things aren't going to provide you enough value. So you're just hoping that by itself, the playmat, acrylic tiles, and the 3D terrain pack are going to carry the weight difference between just doing the landscape pledge here and getting the acrylic tokens. Also, it's kind of counterintuitive because the way that they're doing it is the acrylic tokens are what you're going to be looking at, but the terrain pack replaces the tokens for the most part, right? So it's kind of counterintuitive in that regard as well, in terms of which one would you want. So I would stay away from this pledge in terms of being wise with our money, but obviously if you want it, you want it. There's 2,000 people who want this one. And okay, the one that I would recommend, which was the one up here, is 2802. We actually have some good amount of backers on all pledges. Like normally, whenever we're doing crowdfunding, it seems like people are like within like 2 pledges, but we've got a pretty good draw here of a bunch of different pledges. If you want to check out the stretch goals, I always recommend that because this video is time locked at the time I recorded this video, and there's still 17 more days to go. There's going to be a lot more stuff to check out. They're going to be added to the campaign that can bring additional value to it. So here we have that expansion that they're providing. We have some alternative sculpts here with some of these workers, which is cool. And there's more. And then they have a great little breakdown here of what's in what. If you're like not sure what was up, maybe my video wasn't helpful for you, you can check this chart here and see exactly what it is. The reviews are old. These are old videos, and this isn't even a review. This is a how to play. This is obviously Dice Tower old videos, but the gameplay is still relatively the same. So if you're looking for information about Puerto Rico, you can trust that these older videos are going to be pretty much similar to what this gameplay is going to be like, except obviously the components are going to be way different. Now, there is a thing called Sun Drop that you can get into most of these games on their miniature pledges. I have a love-hate relationship with Sundrop. Sometimes Sundrop looks incredible. Sometimes Sundrop makes it too dark and hard to see. For example, when I did my Lords of Ragnarok pledge, I got a Sundrop version, and then a friend had a regular version. I actually like the regular version better. The miniatures were more vibrant and easy to see on the board, while Sundrop kind of darkened everything on mine and almost made some of the stuff kind of indistinguishable between the two factions. So I didn't care for that. But I do have the Sundrop version here on mine of the Red Castles, and they look great. So, you know, you can go either way. I like them. I think they do look cool here in terms of that, but I've got a love-hate relationship with it as well. And the final thing we're going to take a look at here is the shipping. So if you're in the USA that we're normally talking about, that standard edition that I was telling you to wait on is because it's $18 here for shipping. So that's why I recommend you to wait, because otherwise you can just pick it up at retail. The special edition, though, you're going to be looking at $22, and then the landscape or merchant's pledge, so either acrylic tokens or miniatures, they're combining them, so $24 or $31 if you want everything. These are pretty standard prices that are pretty nice to see back into, like, in terms of like what shipping prices used to be back in the day, so I'm happy for that. So yeah, good for that. So let's go ahead and cut back to the main camera, and I'll give you my final thoughts. So I've already kind of talked about what pledges I would recommend. I think that acrylic pledge is the best, or just the standard special edition version pledge is probably a good one to go with. You're getting all the cool deluxifications. You're just going to be living with some cardboard tiles. I think a lot of people are okay living with cardboard tiles, but if you're wanting the acrylic tiles, I would think you just go ahead and get the merchant pledge, get the free playmat effectively with that pledge, and you're good to go. I'm excited to get this one into my collection. I'm definitely going to be getting this into my collection. I kind of went through, once I got the Castles of Burgundy, I kind of did this thing of like, okay, I kind of want these classics that have been redefined or redone, deluxified into my collection, because I feel like they're going to be games that last forever. And you're not going to want to get rid of them. So this is one I'm definitely going to be looking forward to pledging. But I'm curious what you guys think. Was my video helpful? Are you going to be pledging this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Go ahead and type your comments down there. I love to read them. And if you're new to the show and you kind of like these kind of crowdfunding deep dives where we kind of give you guys our thoughts on the campaign, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and join the community. And also check out the Discord. I appreciate you guys coming and chatting. My name is Brian. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you very soon.